last time we finished this part, which had to do with this yearly sail or journey that some priests had to do to Alexandria, and that Ptolemy relieved them of that specific duty. Yeah. And so we have a bit of a shorter stretch right here if someone wants to try and have a go at the demotic.
I can give it a shot.
Yeah, thanks.
That very first one, is it a T? Maybe a D?
No, it's sort of a compound. It's something else. We've had it specifically when the Greek says prosetaxe, like here, we have this verb in the demotic. So it's a verb of command. If you remember.
Rosetta. So maybe let's see, a command. So maybe is it the one that's like the Middle Egyptian wudge, like a WD with the line under it?
Yeah, exactly. That's the equivalent. It's not. So the demotic uses hen specifically, or henny.
Oh, right.
But while the Middle Egyptian uses wedge, and the Greek has prosetaxe every time. So I don't know. Last time we saw it was maybe not last time, but the time before. So I don't want to bring up the document, but I can have a quick look again in the DPDP, so just so that we can see how it works out. Is it a dotted H, or is it to command order? So it's just hen, right? Home, and that has this. Supposedly, the writing has this. The hen glyph, which I don't quite know what it represents actually. This one. That's sort of what's implied anyway. So yeah, it just means to command. So these two together. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to write at this point. Draw. Yeah, so and what is the next sign? The one that's just here?
F, so it's a henna. I guess it would be a Sejimef.
Yeah.
And then probably a definite article, maybe a P or an N.
So the hen was one of these verbs that require a redundant.
All right. S.
S, exactly.
And then I think you said R is the one that's more diagonal, and N is usually like straight. So
yeah. So this would be
R.
R. Okay.
And this is probably going to be wrong, but that next one, that's not a T, like a infinitive, like a give, is it?
No, it's not give, but it is. I don't know how to define that. We also had this a few weeks ago. It's tem, so it's the negation, the one you use to negate an infinitive, for example.
It's like bread loaf tea and maybe that like sled thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's the sled thingy is that a sled actually? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Do we know what that is? Is that a sled? It really does look like it. Let me just quickly see what Gardner has as a description. It's U15. So U15. Yeah, okay, yeah, it is a sled. Sorry, I just, it seemed, you never know. Okay. Great. So we have tem, and then just the abstract, the book scroll determinative on the left there. So tem. And these are uniliterals, actually, both of these.
Is that top one like I can look below it? There's a good chance it matches the hieroglyphs below, so maybe I'll just guess with that first. So maybe RT, like maybe the top one is an R, and the second, the one on the bottom is like a ligature of a T and a ein.
No, it doesn't fit exactly, right? Because we will see that the Middle Egyptian has this sort of almost redundant ready when they have a negated infinitive. So it says tem, ready, and then it has the actual verb, which in this case is very unclear. We will see it later. No one really knows what this says. But so in this case we have the actual verb here, and this is something like I don't know how to the cup or whatever, the K. It's supposed to be like that. I don't know how to draw that, but is it just this one?
Yeah.
Right? And then underneath here, this is a P. It can be other things, but in this case, one of the uniliterals of this sort of two-like glyph or sign is P. Let's quickly. I also forget sometimes these really important things, but just let's have a brief look at Johnson, so that we can. Right, because you have this Aleph that can have, but with this obvious sort of tail. And then we have somewhere, did I go past P maybe? Yeah, and yeah, this is the one we're sort of looking at now. So that's the P. And then it can also mean other things like ligatures, but in this case, yeah, that's sort of a good thing to keep in mind. So K, P, and then this is the determinative of the falling man, the determinative for enemy or incarceration or all that sort of thing. Yeah. So it's Kep, and maybe if I give you the Coptic.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what it could. That's actually exactly what I was thinking, because I was in my mind I was running through all the verbs I could think of, like with K and P. I couldn't think of anything. I thought, oh, maybe this is one of the things where the K is really a cha, and it's that Shima character. So like seize or capture or something.
Exactly. So what verb would you say in Coptic?
Chope. So P, and then I think it has like that.
Yeah. No, I agree. So that's exactly what it is. So it means to, as you say, to seize or to capture, or that's what it is. So great. This really useful with the Coptic. Okay.
That next one, that's not an F, obviously. It's like mirrored. So is it just a determinative or?
No, there's one sign, one very common word that has that looks like this.
Oh, remech.
Yeah, remech. So remech. And this we haven't seen before, so I can just say it if you want.
One of them looks like maybe a G, but otherwise I don't know.
This one, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It looks a bit like the G. It's also the how the determinative for the sort of hand with the whip looks like. So the action verbs or all those kinds of what it is, a flail or a whip. And so, and the verb here is shen, as in the Coptic is. I have to look at my notes, but hina is a Coptic. You know this one?
To row?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So it's to row. And this includes, in this glyph we have the glyph of the rowing, the whatever it is, a hat with that is rowing. I never really know.
I was just going to ask about that. Yeah.
Let's wait. Yeah, let's just look it up again. Shen. So I have these shen. No, it would be just sheni, I think. Yeah. To row. So this is D33. D33. Arms rowing. Yeah, but what do the arms come out of? That's the sort of thing that I.
Yeah. I've always wondered about that.
I remember having a conversation about this with Christian a long, long time ago, and I had proposed that it was some kind of a shell, like a clam shell or some sort of shellfish, and he thought that that was possible.
Okay, so it's a sort of a maritime association in a way that you
Yeah,
have.
Yeah.
maybe. Or if there's a particular shellfish that's a homophone or something
I see.
that's why it's
Good.
incorporated, but I mean we
Okay,
didn't crack it necessarily.
I have nothing to improve on that anyway. Okay, so we have, and I find this sort of combination here of Remech Chen rather interesting. It reminds me as if Remech has this sort of Coptic, when they become just Remen something, Remen.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Offhand, I don't know if it exists. It might.
I checked it. I don't think it does. I don't think there is or at least not an attested sort of Remen Hine or something like that. There is a ref maybe, but yeah. So it's almost to me like this is what we're sort of seeing in development into this this kind of construction. Or just like they have to be pronounced as one word, like a remhen or no, remhena.
Yeah, and remind me again. So the first one is the first part of the three signs there. The first one is like the rowing arms. The second one is just a unilateral N, or what is that?
This one?
Yeah.
I think I can check it. I think they interpret it as the vertical stroke, so just the Z1 Gardner. I think so. Then how do I write this? Two-row, Shen two-row. So this one, yeah. So it's just the rowing shell with the wave underneath, and then the Z1 vertical stroke in the middle, and then at the left, the determinative for the arm with the whip.
I see.
So that's how you break this one down. Okay, let's. Do you have a translation?
Sure. He commanded to not. He commanded to not have. I don't know if there's like a subject, but like he or an object. Like he commanded to not have them capture the rowers, or he commanded to not have the rowers captured. I'm not sure.
We can maybe wait a bit, but I agree. It's really sort of laconic or sort of condensated. So he commanded it to not, and this sees, and I think this maybe is what is it again? I always need to look at the. Because let's come back to it when we've done the rest. I think this is a bit tricky. Okay, and what about the hieroglyphs? Is there anyone up for that?
I can do it.
Yeah. All right.
So wedge and F.
Wedge and F.
Is or tem.
Is tem.
Or D. And then I've absolutely no idea what that little reindeer sign is. What is that?
Is there like a plow sign or something like this? Could it be? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think the other guys, the Germans from back in the day, knew either what this was. How do you write plow? Is it like this? Maybe. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. It doesn't look like that. Okay. I don't know then.
I've no idea. I can't even begin with that. Which I'm guessing is just part of that verb, whatever it is.
What did you say?
The oot after it.
Yeah, oot. So oot sometimes have this. We saw it once before as as the passive. So they invert the two. So
okay.
We can see if that works, but it might be two.
That makes sense, actually, given what we just saw above. S,
Yeah, S, right?
N, or new. I guess it's plural in this case, so new.
New, okay.
And then Henny, or Henny-U. I don't know if we're still doing that at this stage, the W's.
Yeah. I think this one is meant to be a word that means expedition or something like this. But we don't have the T, obviously. Let me quickly, because I had looked it up earlier. Hen, neat.
I think Henny means sailor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. A crew of rowers. Yeah, and that makes sense with the demotic as well, that we had these sort of sailing men.
Yeah.
Or rowing men rather.
Mhm.
Okay.
So the translation is basically the same. He commanded, I don't know if this is an enclitic particle. I think we saw one before. To not be seized, I guess, the men of the crewmen, sailors.
Exactly. So yeah, sure. So this is how do you write it? We might write it as U as well. Okay. Great. And then this is, as we saw, is sort of when they have Greek dekai, which means also, they usually put in this is particle, which means also. So he commanded also that blah blah blah. And then with this case, we have to imagine a similar verb then to kep, I guess.
Yeah.
A couple questions about this. So this hieroglyphic line, is this what it looked like on like this Rosetta Stone, or is this like a reconstruction based off of like Rosetta, or like like a comparable stele?
Yeah, it's a very, so at least the main stele, it's a composite as far as I understand from several sources, but the main stele is what they call the Nobira stele, and that's when they have N like this. When Seta just prints N, that means that's what the stone says, the Nobira stone, and but it's very damaged. I can't find any good photos of it. Otherwise, I would have just used the photos rather than the texts. But it says, for example, here N to read. So Seta takes it as kep, right? It takes it as the same verb as we had in the demotic. And then he says that some other person, Kamal, he read or reads nehem. So also then to seize or to something like that, just a different verb. But they really they don't seem to understand what this is anyway.
Yeah, because I was thinking like the top one obviously looks like an N, and then there's another one that looks like a P. Like I was thinking like, oh, maybe based on the uniliterals we can attempt to like hypothesize what it might be, but I assume scholars 100 years ago would have already tried that. So there's probably nothing I could suggest or think up that they haven't already tried.
Do you have a suggestion? Something with N and P?
Yeah, like the only verbs I can think of with N and P are like there's nechpe, which is like to rise or to wake up somebody, but it's probably not that.
Can you write it in the chat just so we have and then we
Sure.
can sort of think about it at some point? But I mean, it's I think it's fair enough for us to try and do better.
I think that's how you spell it.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that's really cool that you, yeah, because I have no idea. So yeah, and also as Erin said, sort of this sign, what that might be is also not clear to me.
I know there's like a plow sign. I think that was mentioned.
Yeah. It looks like a plow to me as well, but I can't find it. I tried to have a quick look, and I can just find this one, which is it's not. I wouldn't know where to. Maybe if we
There is another one, and I'm trying to think of a word that has it in, and I can't think of one.
There's a in sky in Coptic. It's a S. So SK.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
That one, yeah.
Seka, that's what you were saying, yeah, Seka. And that is, so that might be it, right? U13?
Yeah.
U13.
Maybe.
How about T17?
T17.
Yeah,
For chariot.
it sort of looks like, right?
Yeah. It sort of looks like it, yeah. But none of them fit the context anyway.
Yeah.
I think. So I don't know. I really don't know what the engraver were thinking with this stone, but this is not the first time.
If it's damaged, maybe we're just missing the piece that would make it clear what it actually is.
This is maybe a weakness of the old publications, that they absolutely feel like they have to print something instead of saying that it's unknown or uncertain.
Yeah. I mean, some of these could just be cracks in the stone that are being assumed to be part of a sign.
So it would be great if we could actually find a photo. There's one publication by this Kamal, but the quality is impossible to see anything. So yeah, I don't know.
What would be really nice to have would be some high-res photographs of actually the original pieces. Unfortunately, that's all too old, and all we have is at least all I was able to find was people's copies, like what we're looking at here. Somebody could actually look at the originals and, I don't know, take some really nice high-resolution shots, maybe with different light conditions. That would help so enormously.
Do you know where these stones are? Are they in Cairo?
So the Nubria stela is, to my knowledge, is in Cairo. So yeah. Then the two Philae decrees are in situ, but this section is not in there, to my knowledge. So I think it's with the Cairo stela that we'd have to go in this case.
Okay, so we'll have to go to Cairo then. Yeah.
Oh, well, that gives me an idea. No. One of the server members is currently in Cairo, and he was going to the Egyptian Museum like these couple of days. So, emergency message.
I don't know how easy they are to sort of, if they are just there for everyone to see, then fine. But if you have to ask someone to, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know who it is.
I think you probably would need a few months of preparation work here, but that's actually a cute idea. Next one who goes. Take this with you. Here are your marching orders.
Yeah, exactly. So anyone, yeah. Or we can do our last reading session in Cairo when we finish. Yeah. No. Okay. I think we're good with this. So anyone up for the Greek?
Well, I can do the Greek since I cannot do anything else.
All right.
So the first three elements we have seen before, it's the verb Rosetta. So he commanded. And then we have these two particles that add on, de kai, he also added, he also commanded. And then actually we should jump to the end because what we need is the negative, the me, which goes with the infinitive, poiestai, not to do, not... But this in itself doesn't really make sense unless one connects it with the fourth word, which is a noun and an article, ten zulipsin, the arrest. And this is a typical piece of Koine Greek, which actually, instead of using the verb, the classical verb, silambano, so mi silambanein, uses the verb poieo and the noun that is derived from the verb. So ten σύλληψιν με poiestai would be not to make the arrest.
Mm.
And then you need the genitive of whose, the arrest, and the genitive is actually the only thing we have that is there is the ton, the article of. And actually we need to think of a participle to go with it, right? I don't know, the ones called maybe from kalumenon or whatever, but it is not there. So of, and then you've got a prepositional phrase, eis is the preposition, and then you've got an accusative, nauteian, with its article, ten, esten nauteian, for the naval duty, to the naval duty. So of those called to the naval duty. And nauteia is a very nice, strange Greek word, it's unattested otherwise. And I think it is just a coinage for kind of by analogy to strateia. Strateia is the expedition, and the expedition on land, and nauteia is the expedition by navy. So if you had the chariot up there, I would expect the boat underneath. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
So that's what you've got there. And this nauteia is not to be confused with nautia, which means seasickness, which is the word we have in classical Greek.
How do you spell that, with a iota?
It's with a iota.
Okay.
And at the point, both, I mean, because we are in the Koine period, they would be identically pronounced. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, seasickness.
Seasickness,
Okay.
yeah. And this is an older Greek. You've got it also in Aristophanes and in earlier poetry. But if you look nauteia, the only witness we have is the Rosetta Stone. Yeah, and maybe P-revenue laws, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Yes, it's a very, very, and if it is in the P-revenue laws, it would be a very contemporary type of.
Yes.
Very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Exactly. But then, of course, yeah, one has to look at DLG to really make sure.
Okay, I was really intrigued by the the Poye and Sulle that this is a Koine type of transformation of what did you say, that you would have Sulle?
So one of the traits of the Koine is that on the vocabulary now, at the level of vocabulary, is that instead of having a verb, like the classical Greek would use the verb silambano, to arrest, it replaces this with periphrastic constructions. So they use very much the verb poieo, poieomai, and then the noun that is derived from the verb.
Okay. Okay, can you do the full translation?
Yes, and he also commanded not to make the arrest of those called for naval duty.
Okay, so there's a I looked up Suleps specifically right in this online Preisliches Wörterbuch, and he also proposes this, which I assume is a conscription of a kind, that to not perform the conscription or the sort of forced labor of the naval duty.
The arrest, perhaps, of those conscripted to the naval duty, or
because I'm trying to make sense of it, sort of what is he actually trying to do here? Because these are good things, right? So he he's not. Why would he arrest people? Why would you arrest the people for the naval duty? Is my thought.
Yes, they would force them. They would press gag them. Or, well, the translation, perhaps a better translation, is what they give in this publication. Do you know this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they say, let me find it. That's 16, right?
This is line 17, I think. 17.
Yes. Let me see. And he has ordered that men shall no longer be press-ganged for the Navy.
That's a word I don't know. Press.
Yeah, press-gang.
Okay.
Forcibly conscripted, sorry.
Conscripted, yeah.
Conscripted. Against your will, basically.
Hmm.
Yes. So who would be then conscripted? All of them? So there would be no one? Or is it just the priests
Yeah, right.
who would not be conscripted?
Right. I don't know. My sort of immediate thought is that the general conscription, the general forced labor or forced sort of duty, this forced naval duty is sort of abolished, at least.
Does this tie in with the previous line? Wasn't the end of the last line about the priest who sailed to somewhere?
That's true.
It was.
So is it saying those particular men who sailed to Alexandria will not be press ganged into the Navy? Because they're sailors. So presumably sailors would sometimes be conscripted. So they're saying these particular sailors are exempt from that?
I don't know.
That seems logical. I'm just having a hard time imagining priests, though. I mean, which you would
I mean,
assume
maybe not priests. Maybe they work for the temples. They're sailors who do whatever it is that they were referring to going to Alexandria. They're like contracted to the temples or something.
I was thinking about the compel, or I think like forced labor. I don't know if forced labor, like that term was mentioned a few minutes ago, but I was thinking about that in terms of like having people like forced to do some kind of work. And then I thought about this. I think these two nouns and or verbs are related, and one of them has a TLA entry like a QBI. So that could be a possibility. Like maybe the thing in the middle, like part of it is a horned viper. And I know there's an arm at the bottom, so.
You're thinking about how to take this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, these are great suggestions, honestly. I can't sort of say anything, but absolutely. And it would be a bit right. The hieroglyphic part usually tries to come up with some different main verb than the demotic, often at least. So it's not. So it would make sense for me that this is not kep again, but something else.
Yeah.
If okay, but can we? So does the demotic make sense now? So we have some kind of. He ordered that the sort of conscription of that a conscription for naval duty not be made, or that not be made the conscription of those for naval duty. How does this make? He ordered it to not seize. And then this is what I'm struggling with: to not stop the rowers, to not arrest.
Oh, you're talking about the demotic one?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to make sense. I'm
Okay.
having trouble with how to make sense of it, actually.
He commanded to not seize, or say, if I were to replace the verb by like to, for example, if I were to say recruit, right? He commanded not to recruit rowing men, basically. Now replace recruit with some verb that I don't have right now, which is like, how do you call that in the Navy? When you were like Shanghaiing people, like forcing them on a boat when they wake up in the morning, they're already at sea. What's a proper verb for this? Come on, there has to be something here. But yeah, I would say forcibly conscript rowers if you want.
Hmm.
That would work, assuming that cap can have that meaning.
Hmm. Yeah. Right. Let's see.
Impress.
Impress.
To impress, I guess. Is that a thing? Impress sailors? I'm just looking for synonyms for to Shanghai.
Seize.
Honestly, it's probably press gang, but it's such an old-fashioned word.
It is. I mean, we've not been doing this for a while,
Yeah, right, exactly.
as far as I know.
So cap in the DPDP has just two C's. I would have to look into Ericsson, I guess, to get more information. The Egyptian precursor is just maybe to catch birds, so it was probably not used a lot at all. And then the Coptic Kyope, obviously, we have seize, take, take captive, arrest. So we would have to make it work, and we have to sort of force the meaning out of it in a way. Maybe I have Ericsson, so maybe we can see page 578. Ericsson. $578.
Side note, it is impressed in English. Between 1793 and 1812, the British impressed more than 15,000 US sailors to supplement their fleet during the Napoleonic Wars, etc. So that's a thing.
Okay. Impressed.
Okay.
I'm impressed.
Impressed, yeah. Impressed, right? Yeah.
Okay, so we have, I don't know if any one of these, is this to catch mice?
Not just mice, but bats. Fledermäuse.
Bats. Okay.
To catch bats. Oh, there you go. But this is, of course, our text. Bremechchen. Schiffe zu pressen. In other words, to impress sailors.
Okay. Yeah.
So that is. But yeah, it seems to be catch, basically, right?
Seems to be catch.
It would be nice to know if there's any other historical reference. Of course, the only one I could find quickly was essentially the abolishment of the practice in the decree that we're looking at. So if there was any other parallel text, that would be interesting.
Yeah, so we have a lot of rare stuff here, even in the Greek, right? We saw that we have this word that only come for this specific thing. And then they also, apparently for the demotic, they have this verb now for this specific action as well, to not to conscript or to impress sailors. So it would be, so it's a very unfortunate that we don't have the Middle Egyptian in this case. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's.
Still, if I could ask a question, I still don't understand whether they talk about themselves. That is not to conscript sailors from their group, which is very strange, or he refers to a kind of general abolition of the practice. Because then he continues, the next one is about, again, the priests. So it's a bit
Yeah, right. Because I agree.
Right.
Like my immediate thought is that they're talking about the general naval duty that in the Ptolemaic era was sort of forced. Because I don't really see. It seems a bit strange for me that they go from this thing about the priest, right? They have this yearly duty to go to Alexandria, probably for some service or some important thing, and then this seems to have almost more of a sort of fleet or military thing to it.
Yes, and then the next that comes concerns, if I understand it correctly, concerns the priests. Something about clothes that they have to contribute to. So
in that sense, maybe we should take this as referring to the priests as well. But what? So is there like a second duty in addition to the yearly Alexandrian thing?
Could we look at that previous line again, just to see if it's clearer?
I don't know if you want maybe this part.
It doesn't say anything about sailing, does it?
It says.
It just says, did they going? They make a journey. Doesn't say sail.
In the demotic, I guess Ewen here has some kind of sailing, has a boat connotation, right? Because an Awin in Coptic becomes a boat's cargo. So this is a boat journey, and obviously the Greek has very explicitly the sailing.
So that's why I feel like these are the particular sailors who are being exempt here. It's the ones who are involved in this yearly devotional journey to Alexandria won't be conscripted, because they're certainly not saying that no one's going to get conscripted into the Navy anymore. Just there's a carve out for these particular men.
Yes. Yet this is the way the corpus of the Ptolemaic inscriptions seems to understand it, because they translate. Let me see, I lost it now. He ordered that no rower should be impressed into service. Kind of very general. But yeah, it doesn't seem to make sense.
Well, you would sail the boat down from Cairo, whatever you're going from. And it would be probably the Alban Barker, which would be quite a huge ship. And then we'd have to row it back, and you wouldn't have the rowers with you from wherever you went. So you would have to conscript them from Alexandria. So therefore you need a second clause that says don't conscript people from Alexandria to row the ship back. It's a legal document, so it's sort of, remember, don't hire these people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sadly, right, since this is the only text that actually uses this term, we have to sort of figure it out from the text itself, it seems. So that's what makes it so tricky. Okay, if everyone's, I think we're all very satisfied with this portion. So let's move on, unless there is anything else. Okay, so what do we have here? Anyone?
I can give it a shot.
Yes.
So the first one is weave. So there's a W, then you have the double reed leaf, you have walking legs, and then a somewhat curtailed F to make it a finite verb form. So he was far, or he is far, right? Then the next thing has to be an R of separation. From what? From the funny glyph there is denit. By funny glyph, I mean this, that odd thing. So since that is feminine, the article must be a ta. Next one is an absolute bugbear. That is rawi, 2/3. And I most certainly did not find that out by myself. Then an N, that is easier. So the next major word is shesh ensu, the royal linen. Does that make that a na or a ta? I guess a na. Shesh is not feminine, so that must be a na. Na shesh ensu. About the shesh, the linen, the little loopy thing underneath, that is indeed the loop, the shesh loop.
Mm.
And then the broad thing is a very distorted su, the whatchamacallit, uh, the sedge. It's a sedge? Yes, it's a sedge. The su glyph, basically. Okay. And
Are
now
you serious? That is the sedge glyph?
it is, yes. Imagine the vertical and then like a really long horizontal that's coming out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
it has a bird on a stick on it. So if you go over to the next one on the right, I mean in the TPDP
Oh, sorry. This one?
on the right.
Oh, on the right here.
There you go. So bird on a stick, and then I guess it has plural strokes at the end. I'm assuming
Yeah.
that's what the last thing is. Okay. So far we have we have also I think translated with abolished. So he abolished the part of 2/3 of the royal linen. Then comes something familiar, the e when now,
Mm.
that past relative converter. And it's followed by an EU, EU. So
Let's all do it like this.
read leave plus third person. Yep. So that they had been doing something. The doing is really doing, namely iru.
Wait, I just try to make this. Oh, okay. Here you mean? Yeah. Oh, you can see my pen right now.
I think that is iru, but now I'm a bit confused. Why do we have W twice in the Erwin now EU and iru? Is that regular? Is that the way it should be?
Interesting. I don't know. I hadn't thought of that.
Let me double check that. I'm passing this right, but I think that's right.
Let's check.
Demotic text DPDP. Where are we? Line 10, 11, right? Give or take.
11. Yeah.
11. Let
Okay.
me see if I can find it here quickly enough. Maybe
Maybe we're at the end of line 10.
so. Yeah, Denit. Here we go. Ensu. Where now? Oh, wait. Did I make a mistake? Is that what I transcribed as EU? Is that just part of the when now? How do you spell when now again? Let me see. May have gone overboard there. Let's see. When now. No, when now ends in na and plural strokes.
Yeah. No, I
But
agree
that's
with
it.
you that it's.
There's distinctly an EU afterwards.
Mm.
So EU, iru. That's like one U too many for my.
Yeah, I agree. And before it wasn't like this. Like we've seen this construction a few times, and obviously we have a subject noun that's a pronoun, so we have to have the EU, and then the verb typically comes in the infinitive with nothing. I think.
Oh, wait. Unless, could it be an object pronoun?
Okay.
They were doing them, namely the 2/3 of royal linens.
Hmm.
That share of 2/3 of royal linens that apparently they had to give to somebody.
Hmm.
You would expect an N now. That thing looks more like an R to me, to be honest. But
Yeah, I think also it would be an R. Right. So it's more like with respect to than to.
Yes, it's more with respect to. That's right. Maybe that's some kind of whatchamacallit, like I don't want to say set phrase, but can't think of the word right now. The combination of iri to do plus because there's no d here. It's not to give, but it's iri, which makes me think maybe iri r has a certain meaning there that I don't know. Possible. Be it as it may. So next we have, I think that is per, and then per a. So the house of the pharaoh.
Yes. Oh, sorry. So all of this becomes per
So to the royal palace, basically. And then we have an N. That's clearly an N. The big thing after, you see it ends in a temple, has that funny thing at the beginning. So that's Erpeu. That's temple. So the whole thing must be Na Erpeu. And the Erpeu is spelled with a reed leaf at the beginning. That's why there's something after the Na. So Na Erpeu, and it has the plural strokes. Okay, now how do we translate that? I think something like he abolished the share or the responsibility or the part of 2/3 of the royal linens, which they had been iri ar them, whatever iri ar them is, the royal palace, and then he did that for the temples. I'm a bit confused, honestly, as to what's happening here. It seems to me that he's basically saying, I mean, in the general logic, it would be something that doesn't have to be paid anymore. But I'd love to see what's in the Greek and maybe also in the Neo-Middle Egyptian version to see what it actually means. I'm a bit confused as to who has what responsibility here.
Yeah, right. It's not clear with this R and N. They're not very helpful in this case.
Right.
Okay, let's see then if we get time to go through the glyphs here. Anyone?
There's another horoglyph in there, right?
This one, yeah.
Not that one. Under your N17 there in the beginning.
This one?
Yeah, MPECKIT, and then
yeah, okay.
Let's funny bird again. Oh wait, but that must be all in, and then it has a right.
You want to go? What did you have for this one? You can just continue if you want.
I would say that Chad, I thought we had that before as fees or. And help me out. That was somewhere. I thought it was like fees or taxes or something of that nature. Or am I making it up?
We had something like that, but in this case, it means very specifically linen or something like this, or garment.
Garment.
It's der, and so the voiced.
So I'm completely wrong.
Well, I mean,
there we go.
Clothing, right, with the little loopy thing. So we have right, which we have here.
The next one, I have a complete blank. Packet. Is that something known?
Yeah, and that's also that's linen actually.
Oh.
Yeah. Packet.
Oh yeah, and it has that. It has that thing in there. What is that? Is that a some kind of bird head?
Yeah, there's either this one or yeah, or this one, which looks a bit funny to me. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Why the bird? I don't know. But
if it's I think it might be a similar word. I've seen it in the dictionary, but I haven't like encountered it in text yet. It means like to be light, I think is the like light or fine or something or thin.
There you go. Yeah.
That's that same like little bird head determinative. So I assume it's related.
Here's
Okay.
the verb here.
In-
It's a very rare verb though. Okay. Okay. So we have this in Coptic. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Cool. So, so ir per ense?
Yeah. So ir, and then here you have per.
What was this again? Gespe something.
Yeah. Jesu Peru.
Gesperu, right. Okay. Aha, and then it gets wild. Aha and nut or aha and tu, depending on what we want to make out of this. And then comes something I don't understand at all. This is just, I would put I'm not even trying. I mean, it says N may do something, but it doesn't make any sense. Then comes an N. Then comes Chemif, His Majesty. Next, what call it? Rawi, so 2/3, I think.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what that is. And Sen. And the first problem we have is there is no real verb apart from ir. You would expect that's what that is. So you would, or maybe, that's tricky. So it's like okay, it's like a object put in front. So if I take ter and packet, the royal fine linen, ir per ensu, which made the royal palace, I guess. M gesperu, the prepositions are weird. M normally would be either in or sometimes from, even more rarely instrumental with or by, which doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that is still clear as mud. Who's making what for whom?
It sounds like the garments of fine linen made for the royal palace by the temples.
That makes the most sense. You're right. So then we're just missing an N somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then so as for those garments, something, acha and tu, if it is a tu. And then His Majesty, 2/3 of it. So now it's a bit weird. You would assume that basically it says something like he abolished the 2/3 of it, or he abolished a part of the 2/3 of it, but we're now force-fitting this just based on the demotic. Oh boy, Greek to the rescue, I guess.
If people have time, I would love to actually look at the Greek as well. I don't know if we can spend another 5 minutes or something.
I'm game.
Yeah.
I
Anyone?
might dip out, but please continue.
Okay. Anyone wants to have a go?
I can do it.
Sure.
I think.
Yeah, sure. If anyone has a pressing need to read Greek, they can interrupt you, but otherwise you go ahead. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Shall I do from the beginning or shall I just jump to the verb? Because the verb is in the second line.
Do the verb first. You can do that.
That's the verb is apelisen. So it's in the second line. So he released, right? He abolished. And then the 2/3 is right after, ta dio mere. So this is 3 words, ta, the adjective, dio for 2, and then mere, the 2 parts. I think it means the 2/3 or the 2 parts. I don't know. So the 2 parts. And then you've got a huge hyperbaton, which starts. So basically, we have an article, ton, and the noun that goes with it is othonion, which is just right before the verb, which means the clothes. So he, and this is genitive, what do you call it, partitive? The 2/3 from the clothes, of the clothes. And then after the article, so whatever, basically hyperbaton in Greek means that whatever it is between the article and the word that the article belongs to the same construction, the same syntax. So now how do we parse the rest? It is the t, which is an elided form of te, so and. And then you've got a prepositional expression, eis, which we saw also above, eis then nauteian. Here is eis, and then to, that's the article. Basilikon, that's the royal. And then, yes, well, okay. I should perhaps say that we've got also the participle syntelumenon, and that belongs together with ton and othonion. So that are paid. That's a genitive, participle genitive plural. And tois hierois, that's a prepositional expression in the temples. And yes, tois hierois, that is dative plural. And then what's left, bisinon goes with othonion. And this is a kind of rare word in Greek. It means fine, made of bisos, which is the flax, linen. So let's see. And he abolished the 2/3, so apelisen ta dio mere, he abolished the 2/3 of the bisinon othonion, ton bisinon othonion, of the fine linen clothes, syntelumenon, paid or contributed, eis to basilikon, to the royal house, towards royal tax. I don't know. And then entos tois hierois in the temples. I would put this closer to the bisinon othonion, the fine linen made in the temple that were contributed to the royal treasury, I guess, or to the royal house.
So we have a very clear ace preposition, at least in this case, that makes it very clear that this payment is made to the royal treasury or the royal house.
Yes.
Which is what Erin sort of suspected earlier.
Yep. So basically, this is being made in the temples and being contributed to the house of Pharaoh. That's the direction it goes. Does that fit to the demotic at all? N and P. Well, if we assume that N stands for M,
Hmm.
then it could work. It's surprising to me still that it. So it could really mean, it could mean make them. So Erwin now Iu, Iru, that they make them towards the house of Pharaoh, or maybe for the house of Pharaoh, if that should be an N there, within the temples. That would actually make some sense. Now that we know what it's supposed to be in Greek. That fits. Can we fit that to the? Okay, so then irer per ens M. So that there's the M. So it actually says in the temples. The only thing that's weird is the irer per ensu. Normally, when you make something for somebody, it should be an N. It shouldn't be an R. I'm pretty. At least that's my feeling for how this language should work. Could still be wrong. But er is always against somebody, to do something against somebody. So that's kind of weird. I don't know what to make out of that yet. But everything else seems to fit. So it's made in the temples and it's made for the benefit of Pharaoh, I guess. Okay. And now no more. Now they're just buying it in the open market.
Well, 2/3 of it at least is. But they still have to give 1/3 of it, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, good question. You're right. 2/3. Is it that 2/3 of the production had to go to Pharaoh, or is it that they're
relieved from the 2/3,
2/3?
so there would only be 1/3 left, and that would go to Pharaoh, and the other 2/3 they might do as they want with. There was one interesting thing that I also saw about that verb synteleo. Actually, now we're way over time, but this is sort of the home stretch here. Teleo, that can mean something very specific, and that is to produce and furnish monopoly products to the king. And so there are these monopolized products like types of papyrus and maybe this very fine linen that usually is sort of given by the temples to Pharaoh, maybe all of it. Usually, I don't know, because if there's a monopoly, then surely Pharaoh has to ensure that he gets the main share of it. So maybe I was thinking maybe also Suntileo has that specific meaning in this case, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah, in that case, he would abolish the monopoly, Ptolemy, which is a pretty big thing to do. But yeah.
Interesting. I would think there have to be some articles on that. That now really goes beyond the time that we have. But are we looking for like production of royal linen?
We can have a look at it. I can put in the chat in the Discord. I know of there are books on royal monopolies and Ptolemies and stuff. So
gotcha. Okay, that sounds like a cool follow-up.
We can do it off Zoom. But
Awesome.
thank you all then, and see you in a week then.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.